are back with comedian David Boyle, and I'm quitting alcohol. So here we are, and just another fucking level. Another level of just medical fucking incompetency. So this morning I went and picked up my report from my MRI scan. First things first, they don't give you the image anymore. They just send it to your doctor. They send it to your GP and the GP accesses it. And I don't have a GP because I hate the cunts. And they're absolutely fucking useless. What's the GP going to tell me about my rib? He looked at it. He's like, ooh. And just wrote me a referral to the MRI. He didn't ask me any questions. Didn't even ask me how I did it. Just asked me what I wanted. Anyway, I was there at the fucking imaging place and I'm like, can I get a copy of the MRI scan? They're like, no, we don't do that anymore. I'm like, well, I have a sister-in-law who's a doctor overseas and I'd like to show her the images. They're like, well, we don't do it. I'm like, what do you mean you don't do it? What exactly does that mean? Like you can't? You won't? It's policy? What does it mean? They're like, it's all online now. I'm like, well, can I access it online? They're like, no. They're like, it gets sent to your doctor. I'm like, I only went to that doctor to get a referral to the MRI because that's the fucking system. I don't know the cunt. I just fucking booked in. He doesn't know anything about fucking ribs. So anyway, eventually I got them to burn the images onto a CD-ROM disc like they did back in the day. And then it fucking turns out I don't have a CD-ROM. None of the laptops in the house do. So my wife took it into work today and she spent 2.5 hours trying to get the fucking images off this CD-ROM, which were trapped in some fucking deep file off an app or some shit. She went to a tech or IT at work, and he managed to bust into this CD-ROM to get the images, and it turns out there's like hundreds of files and images on this CD-ROM, and we don't know which one's mine. And there's so many images that it would have taken all day to download, and we would have had to sift through them all. So, images out. Then I pick up my report. The fucking report. Now, I'll just read out the report because it fucking doesn't say much. At the costal cartilage for the left 8th rib, there is surrounding soft tissue, T2 hyperintense edema. Edema is just fluid. It's just fucking fluid. Edema is also seen surrounding the costal cartilage for the 7th left rib. This suggests localized cartilage injury. This suggests. It suggests it, does it, you fucking cunt? Particularly the cartilages of the left 7th and 8th rib. There is no fracture of the cartilage, however. There is no fracture seen for the left anterior lower ribs. Comment, this is the conclusion. Significant edema is surrounding the costal cartilages for the 7th and 8th ribs. Findings indicate likely contusions to these ribs. So what that's saying is significant edema, significant fluid seen around the costal cartilages. So just fluid. Don't worry about the bit of cartilage that's sticking through my skin, basically. It's just a little bit of fluid. Even though if you look at it with your eyes and you touch it, you're like, oh, that's completely displaced. Around the 7th and 8th, findings indicate likely contusions to these ribs. Contusions is just a soft tissue or muscle injury. That's what they've come up with after the MRI. Likely contusions to the ribs. Now, here's the fucking problem. Here's the fucking problem. I did the MRI scan. The lady who did the MRI scan, she's like, what are we looking at on your rib? I took my shirt off. She saw my rib and she's like, oh, okay, yeah, that's It's a superficial, whatever. I can't even remember what she said. She said superficial, and it made me think, I'm like, does superficial mean like tiny, like it's a bullshit superficial wound, or does superficial mean it's visible to the eyes, like it's on the surface? And I forgot to look it up. Actually, let's look it up now, because I was thinking about it yesterday. Superficial meaning. Oh, it does mean on the surface. It also means lacking depth. Okay, it has a few different meanings, but it means surface. So superficial. It's a superficial wound. You can fucking see it with your eyes. So the lady who did the MRI scan, who's not a doctor, she just must be a technician. She's working the machine. She saw it. That's fine. The problem is the fucking cunt that wrote this fucking report, he didn't see me. He looked at the images. That's all he saw. He saw some images on the screen and came up with some conclusion. He didn't look at the images on the screen, get me in the room, look at my rib, and then look back at the images, and then look back at my rib, and then come to a conclusion. He's just looked at images. He's getting a very fucking 2D fucking view of the whole picture. And he's come up with that conclusion that it's a muscle fucking thing. So obviously, there's nothing wrong again. Despite the fucking fact, my rib is poking out. This is what I mean. It's just fucking psychotic incompetency fucking everywhere. The fluid that he saw on the scan suggests there may be an injury to the cartilage. I tell you what else suggests it. Fucking looking at it with your two cunty eyes and fucking seeing the bone sticking out. Or the cartilage. Unfucking believable. So I called Doug, the Sydney Swans guy, and I read it out to him, and he's like, that's kind of what I thought it was going to be. It means you've dislocated it, because he knows, because he saw it. He's read the report. He knows what's going on, and he saw my rib. So he's come to a conclusion. He's like, okay, you've dislocated it. It's a partial dislocation. And what that means, my friend, is there's absolutely nothing you can do about it. You're stuck with the abnormality for life. The only other option is you can go in for surgery, but it's major surgery. They're going to have to reattach the rib to your sternum, and then they're going to have to brace it so it doesn't move with screws and fucking whatnot. He's like, it's major surgery, and there's no guarantee it will stick. He's like, I haven't seen it before in my life, so I don't know. Usually they break. And I'm like, it fucking sounds like it would have been easier if they broke. He's like, no, there would have been complications with that too. So I'm going back in to see him. He's like, there's really nothing you can do. But last night I contacted a cardiothoracic surgeon. I fucking tracked one down. He was on 60 Minutes and all that. He rebuilds chests. He was doing it for fucking kids for free and all that sort of stuff. That's why I was on 60 Minutes. Anyway, I was reading his website, and it sounds like he does the thing that I may need done if I went that direction. So I contacted him with no fucking hope. I was like, there's no fucking way I'm getting an appointment with this thoracic surgeon. And then just before I started this podcast, I fucking get an email from them saying on the 29th of November, come in 3:30 p.m. and we'll check out your fucking rib. So now, after all this time, by then it's going to be 7 weeks. After 7 weeks of trying to get answers, I'm finally going to have someone who knows what the fuck is going on look at my rib, look at the scans, and then come up with a conclusion. You know what I mean? I didn't think it would take 7 weeks to get that combination of things to happen. You know? Someone who knows what they're doing, me in person, and the results of a scan that no one told me to do besides fucking Dougie. It's just fucking unbelievable. This is why you got to look after your health. This is why the best way not to die is not to get sick. Because once you're in the medical system, you're just a fucking ping pong ball fucking bouncing around against fucking incompetency fucking everywhere. So fucking, I see this thoracic surgeon 3 days before I go to the US. Imagine he just goes, holy shit. Holy fuck, why didn't you get to me earlier? Because I couldn't. I couldn't get to you earlier. You need surgery immediately. I'll be like, oh my fucking God. Oh my God. We need to get you in right now. Right now. In retrospect, I should have just gone to the emergency room and fucking just played it up. Just absolutely screamed my head off. I'm in fucking pain. Anyway, I'm going to do Boyle Breaks history tomorrow. I'll sort it out. I've got the fucking show on tonight at Lazy's Comedy Club. Fucking come down, even though this will be out after it's finished. Come down to the next one. Anyway, that'll fucking do it for today, and I'll see you the fuck later.